You get hit by another driver, and it's clearly their fault, and they have insurance. You're covered, right? Not so quick. I'm Brian with Bulldog Delivers. Let's hit it. Welcome back, and thank you so much for all the kind comments that you have given me on my last video returning to the YouTube channel after a few weeks off to deal with the mess of the car wreck that I had before. I described a little bit about what happened. I'm not saying too many details, again, just because the claims process still hasn't been settled yet, and you don't know what kinds of things can happen yet. And this is almost 4 weeks afterwards, too, that there's just still no resolution to this. Now, this topic has nothing to do with my current situation, but it does have some similarities to something that I encountered a long time ago that prompted me to get a dash cam. Now, if you watched my video about why you need a dash cam, in there I explained what happened. A guy rear-ended me while I was sitting at a red light. He had been previously driving recklessly through traffic, and then after he hit me, he wanted to take off. Well, he had second thoughts after I took his picture, took a picture of the license plate, was on the phone with 911, and that only happened after he called me some foul names. So the police showed up. He denied even hitting me, but the police saw the fresh damage on my car, and they pinned the blame on him. I went to claim on the insurance, and they dragged their feet. And even after getting the crash report and the like, the insurance company still was not doing anything. To which I asked, what is going on here? And they said, well, we still haven't heard from the other driver yet. I said, oh, okay, so he's not denying it. When are you going to pay me? And the insurance company did. They ended up replacing the bumper cover on my Explorer. They had to paint that, of course, and the like. So it was about $1,000 worth in damage. And, finally it was resolved. But what I learned in this story that I'm about to share with you, I'm actually fortunate with the way that worked out. Here, let's take a look at this unfortunate incident that happened to an Uber driver in South Florida. This is from Help Me Howard with Patrick Frazier from WSVN TV in Miami, and it's a great segment. Let's take a look.
Well, he got into an accident. The driver who hit him had insurance.
But her insurance company refused to pay for his repairs because their customer refused to talk to them about the accident. It's tonight's Help Me Howard with Patrick Frazier.
When Marlon has some spare time, he likes to hit the road as an Uber driver.
Just get out there and make some extra money. Hello.
Marlon says most passengers are nice. It's the drivers on the road that caused his problem.
I had a car in front of me, and then all of a sudden somebody slammed into my rear, causing me to hit the car in front of me.
Marlon and his Uber passenger were okay. His vehicle was not.
The car behind me was completely smashed. My car was completely smashed in the back.
His front end was damaged after being pushed into the car ahead of him. But there was a rarity in the accident for South Florida.
Realized that everybody on the scene had insurance. The person that hit me, I had insurance.
In fact, Marlon and the bad driver have the same insurance company, but they refuse to pay through the at-fault driver's policy because, you ready for this? They say their client won't discuss the accident with them.
Because every time they would schedule her to come in and give her side of the story, she wouldn't show up.
Marlon then asked him to pay through his policy and got smashed twice.
They denied my claim with my policy because they said I was driving for Uber.
And?
Because we found out that you work for Uber, we're not going to renew your policy.
Uber's insurance did agree to pay, but their deductible's $2,500, which Marlon can't afford. And Marlon wants the insurance company of the driver who hit him to pay for the damage she caused.
I find it unfair that an insurance company can just deny your claim, when their driver is clearly at fault.
Two people have the same insurance company, which won't pay through either person's policy. Needless to say, Marlon feels like he's in another wreck.
Yeah, I'm losing from every side. From every single side, I'm losing.
Well, Howard, can an insurance company refuse to pay for the damage their customer caused because that customer won't talk to them?
Yes, they can, because it's in the contract between the at-fault driver and the insurance company, and Marlon has no right to force that insurance company to pay for his damages because he's not a party to their contract.
We tried to contact the driver who hit Marlon. She treated us like the insurance company and wouldn't talk to us either. We contacted United Automobile Insurance Company, who insured the at-fault driver. Their rep said, "We did nothing wrong in Mr. Campos's claim and no further comments." So Howard, as a driver, how do you protect yourself?
First of all, have your own insurance to cover your damage. Marlon was driving commercially for Uber, so his personal insurance would not pay. The other option, sue the at-fault driver in small claims court.
I mean, shame on the insurance.
Marlon will now go through Uber's insurance. He says after the $2,500 deductible, he gets $1,900 to try to repair his damaged SUV.
A very frustrating experience.
It's surprising that if the driver who causes an accident refuses to cooperate, then their insurance won't pay for the damage they cause. But it will cost the woman in this case, since she won't cooperate, they don't have to repair her car either. It's why we do Help Me, Howard. I learn something new every day. Feel like a wreck? No one cooperating with you? Smash through to get in touch with us and let us ensure you get the help you need. With this Help Me, Howard, I'm Patrick Frazier, 7 News.
All I can say is wow. You know, there's a lot of things to dissect in this video, which they did a good job in looking at those key points. Let's go over a couple of key points together, shall we? The Uber driver was driving on a personal policy. He did not have a policy that covered his work. And in Florida, the only type of policy that will cover your work is a commercial policy. In other states, a personal policy can cover your gig work, but you have to tell the insurance company, and they have to put something on that policy to note that you are using your vehicle for commercial purposes. If you don't do that, they can deny your claim, just like they did with this guy. And the insurance company won't insure him anymore. This guy is very lucky that he was driving for Uber, because at least Uber does have some insurance coverage for its drivers. Very, very few apps offer any of that. So the fact that he had to pay a $2,500 deductible, it stings, but at least he had something. And even if he did claim it on his own policy, you know, he's going to be paying that and increased premiums over the next 3 or so years. But if he had a commercial policy with a $500 deductible, then he would have only been out $500 at the moment. Now, it's important to note, if you're an Uber driver, whether you do rideshare or Eats, they do have the insurance information right there in the app, so just go look for the insurance, and it will explain to you the various stages of coverage that you have at various stages of the delivery or of the ride. So let's take a look at some other scenarios. This is where you need to beef up your insurance policy. Now, I've talked about this many times before, and this is worth repeating again because I am going through this right now. You need to have insurance that covers a whole range of circumstances. And so let me just kind of summarize this for you in general terms. I'm not an insurance agent and I'm not a lawyer. What I tell you may or may not apply in your state. I'm only telling you from my own experience. So here's what I have on my policy. I have rental car coverage. I have uninsured motorist coverage, which, by the way, in Florida does not cover property damage. That would have to come under your collision or comprehensive coverage, which I have both of those as well. You also need to have the personal injury protection. That is the mandate under Florida law and is probably mandated in many other states as well. Another thing that you should have, especially in Florida, bodily injury liability. Now, bodily injury liability is not required in Florida, but there are circumstances where you would need it, because if you don't, you could lose your driver's license. So I suggest you research that one on your own. Another thing you should seriously consider is getting that stacking option on your uninsured motorist coverage. Now, not every state has this, only a handful does. Florida and Maryland are two that come to mind, and personal injury attorneys that I've heard in both those states, one of them I've talked to personally about it, says get the stacking coverage. That way, if you're seriously hurt, you have options to pull from in order to help pay for your medical bills. What you need to think about is, what if you find yourself in a situation where you're not at fault, but the other person doesn't have insurance, they were driving on a suspended license, it was a stolen vehicle, could be any number of circumstances, and your chances of getting into a wreck with an uninsured driver or one driving on a suspended license is much better than 50-50. I can tell you that one from experience. So what's the purpose of having the extra insurance coverage? Well, it's to help pay for damages to your car. So the question you can ask yourself is, what if something happened that my car got totaled or heavily damaged or whatever? Can I afford to fix it on my own? If you can't afford to fix it on your own, then you should look at getting that collision and comprehensive coverage for yourself. That way, if you do end up in one of these terrible situations, then you can at least get your car fixed. Now, of course, you could end up facing increased premiums, even if it wasn't your fault, and even if you claimed against another driver. Oh yeah, there's a lot of weird and unfair things in the insurance world. It's the way it is, and good luck trying to go to your legislators and trying to get anything changed. It's not likely to happen at all. So I feel real bad that this happened to that Uber driver. I really do. But this should be a lesson to you as to why you need to have your stuff together and make sure that you are as prepared as possible for these types of situations. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your kind comments again. I really do appreciate it. Welcome to the new subscribers. I like seeing new subscribers joining every week. And again, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Click that notification bell so you can make sure you don't miss any more of my videos. I'm Brian with Bulldog Delivers. Until next time, go get 'em.